Great. So welcome to Academy of Excellence USACO class. And this is session 1. And do you guys know what is USACO? Anyone knows? Joyce? Hi, Joyce, do you know what is USACO?
Is it like a competition?
Yes. It is the most popular, you know, well-known computer programming competition. So let me share my screen. So USACO actually is a short form for USA Computing Olympiad. So every year, you look at the schedule here. Every year it has 4 sessions. Okay, it has 4 sessions. This year's schedule has not come out yet, but it is very soon. If you look at last year's schedule, you see, starts in December. Okay, so if you wanted to do the competition, you really need to prepare for it. So every year, so this will be the first contest. And then you can go to do this contest again, and then you can go to this contest. Here is the international one. Okay, this is a special event. So it gets the best programmer in this country in a week-long training camp. And then they will send 4 people to go to the international contest. So that's this 4 people for 2021. Okay, that's this 4 people. So you could be one of them. You see, girls are also doing very good. So it's not just a task for boys. Okay, girls can excel very well in the programming. So do not feel that, okay, I'm a girl, I really do not know how to program. No, that's not the case. So if you get a series, you go to create account here. Okay, so every year, so when the competition days come, and you come here, click on it, so you will see this is the contest. If you go there, you go to the problems, click on it. So you go to the problems. Okay, let's see, this is the problem. So you see for every division, for every contest, it has 3 problems. So if you have this problem, open it. And if it's during the competition, you can type in your code, your solution, and you can submit your solution. Okay, here in this window, you will be able to submit your solution to it. So let me just go through my slides now. So really, so really go ahead to create an account and register to USA Computing Olympiad. So that's what you need to do. It is a competitive programming contest for programs. As I mentioned, it's well known. And if you get to the high school and you like computer programming, you should hear a lot about this. If you're not in the high school, great. you prepare yourself for that, and you get started sooner, you have the advantage, right? So this competition is for students under 18. Okay, there's no low bound. Okay, if you are 1 year old, if you are good, you can go to the competition. So they really don't care if you are the elementary school students or middle school students. But you cannot be a college student. You cannot. Okay, remember that. So go ahead and create an account. If you do not have one, you really needed to do one. But keep that in your mind. Just create one account. Some people play a game, play a trick. He or she thinks he's very smart. He created 2 accounts. So he created one account to look at the problem, and then use another account to come to do the contest. Why some people do that? Because they wanted to have more time to solve the problem, right? So I will talk about how the competition runs. So you wanted to create an account to look at the game because it's all online, it's all individual. There is no group, okay? Also, no people watching you, okay? You do the competition at your comfortable location, at your own convenient time, okay? So that's why some people wanted to play trick. They created 2 accounts. One account look at the problem for like 4 and 5 hours, and then use another account just to put the code in to do that. That's not the way, okay? If you do that, if you are caught, and then you will be famous in the school, right? They will write a letter to the school, and they will tell the school that they found this account is suspicious, someone is cheating. Okay, so do not do that. All members who register automatically put into a bronze division. So let me come back to the website. So if you come to go to the contest. So let me just open any one of those. Let's see December one. So you see it has 4 divisions, right? Platinum, gold, silver, and the bronze. Okay. So if you are registered, you are automatically in the bronze division. So they are organized in these 4 levels from lower to high. During the competition, if you score a perfect score in the test, the perfect score is 1,000 points. So you are automatically promoted to the next division. It does not need a judge. So if the system says, hey, Thomas, you got a perfect score. And if you are in the bronze division, now you automatically get into the silver division. And then you can do the silver division problem right away. So let me come back to the website. You see, this is schedule, right? So a contest lasts for 4 days. Usually it's from Friday, Saturday, Sunday to Monday. So if you are doing very well Friday, you get promoted. You can do like a Friday evening, do the silver, and you get a perfect score again. Okay, Saturday morning you can do gold, and you get a perfect score again. And then Saturday afternoon you can do platinum. So you can, if you are capable, you can finish all the advancement in one contest. So you can get the platinum, okay, if you are capable. If not, that's fine, okay? You can do it year after year. Nobody can prevent it. So it's good to practice more. Okay, it's good to practice more. Okay, so you are automatically prompted. If it is not a perfect score, then you have to wait. You have to wait, and the judge will come to judge your submission, and the judge will decide, and they will tell you you are promoted or not. Okay, the judge will come to judge you. All right, so there is a percentage. So if you are like I do not know the exact number. So let's say 3% or 10%. The judge will say they will get promoted, and the judge will make that decision. So after you get a perfect score and you are automatically promoted, you can do the test for the next level right away in the same test time window. The same test time window is 4 days. Okay, the window is 4 days. One test has a time limit of 3 to 5 hours. Do not go to this point, okay? When you get into the test, if you started the test, the clock is ticking. You cannot pause it. Okay, you cannot pause it. So it may be 3 hours, maybe 5 hours, up to the organizer. So you have to find a comfortable place at your convenient time. You are not bothered during that time. Do the contest then. So once you start the test, the clock ticks and you cannot pause. So you can start any time during that 4 days, usually from Friday to Monday. So you think Saturday evening may be the best time for you to do it, then you just do it Saturday evening. But you know the test only open for 4 days. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Okay. If no question, okay. During the test, you usually get 3 or 4 questions. You see, I just showed you. Now you see the 3 questions, right? You could get 4. So there's no order for you to answer any of those questions. You can pick any one and work on it. You can come back to redo a question even you already submitted your solution. You feel that you found a better solution, you just resubmit it as long as the time permits. Okay? The judge will only look at your last submission. Okay? The judge will only look at your last submission. You have to submit your solution in order to get a score. If you do not submit, of course, you do not score any. You can submit your solution for the same question as many times as you want. As many times as you want. So the judge will grade your last submission. Therefore, if you think you can improve a solution, just go back and redo that. So also, you think what you need to do, keep a copy of your submission, right? So you can easily come back to modify your code, right? So when you do that, keep a copy of your submission. Do not cheat during the test. You are banned for a lifetime, and your principal will get a letter from the organizer. So you suggest why can't during your lifetime USACO? So your progress can be well tracked by the organizer. So the organizer knows that you are on bronze division or silver division or gold division. Because once you register, your account is tracked there. Okay. You cannot submit a solution if your solution has a compiling error. nobody will look at your code, okay? Nobody. It's all done by the system. The system, if you have a compiling error, the system cannot run your code. Cannot run your code. There is no judge will come to read your code. So keep that in your mind. All right. Any questions so far?
No.
All right. If no question, let's move on. Okay, the contest usually starts in December and it ends in June. And this I already showed you. And this year's schedule has not come out. And that's very strange, you know. Usually it's December. Okay, so if you wanted to do it, start it. Why not? That's not harm, right? Create an account. So you can submit your solution in C, C++, Java, or Python. So the contest is really not care what language you use. It's really care your programming skills, your knowledge about programming itself. Is it Java or Python? Not a problem, okay? But you see, problems are algorithmic in nature, okay? It's algorithm. So you need to learn algorithm. And that's also why we have this class, right? We are trying to help you how to understand the problem, the nature of the problem, and then the algorithm to solve the problem. I just finished the USACO class for the level 4. You see, this is a log I got for like 24 calls, and the 5 calls in the group. We run it, use one solution. It takes 16 million loops to finish, and 15 seconds. But you make a small change to your code. It only takes 115 loops, and even no more than 1 millisecond. And you see the big difference of it. That's algorithm. Algorithm, okay? It's not a coding. So that's why it is very fun. Okay? It's very fun. You see the big impact. So this I just did like 15 minutes ago. I think it's like not 15 minutes, probably not 20 or 30 minutes ago for the level 4 class. So I asked the students try 2 different algorithms. So that's a big difference. It's not a small difference, okay? So keep that in your mind. Algorithm, that's what you wanted to learn. And that's the fun part of it. And that's the knowledge help you solve a problem. So clever algorithms and good data structures is necessary to solve all test cases correctly and within the given runtime limits. So why do we care the time limit? Because that's the goal of the USACO, okay? Even you can write the code to solve it, you may not pass. Why? Okay. I think I have a slide to talk about that, but I can give you that information. If your code is written in C or C++, you need to solve the problem within 2 seconds. So that means within 2 seconds. So your problem needed to be solved. You see here, 15 seconds. Obviously, you fail. Okay, it even will not accept it. All right. So if you use Java or Python to solve the problem, you need to solve it in 4 seconds. 4 seconds. When I teach you Java or Python, I teach you time, right? And also I have an example to show you how to calculate the performance or the running time of your application. You need to have that in your mind. You need to have that in your mind. And that's very important. You need to solve the problem within 4 seconds because you come from my Java class and a Python class, and you will write Python or Java to solve it. And that's the time limit you have, 4 seconds. Okay? Remember that. Cannot go longer than that. Choose the language you use for your solution. Do not take other people's word. Oh, I use C++. C++ is superior than yours. No. I tell you, USACO is not a language oriented. Okay, it's a problem solving oriented test. So you can write your Python code, you can write your Java code. Which one you feel more comfortable with, just do that. Just use that. Okay. Some people brag it. Oh, I know C++, I know C. I will write it to C. Good. Go ahead. Do that. C++ or C, they are good program languages. They are more efficient. That's true. That's why it only, it requires to solve it in 2 seconds. But for Java and Python, it's 4 seconds. Okay. But the nature of USACO is algorithm node oriented. Okay. It's not a programming language oriented. So you can choose the right version, use Python. You can use Python 3.6. Use Java, you can use Java 11. Okay. So they are supported in last year's competition. Right. So that's the version. You can use an old version, but really do not go to Python 2. Okay. Use Python 3 when you write your code. So your score for each problem depends on the number of input cases your program can solve. So let me just get you this problem, okay? You see this problem I just talked about with the level 4 class. It's in the gold version of problem. You see, when they give you the problem, they always tell you how big this number can go. I have not taught you the complexity, the efficiency of coding. But you see, this is a very important thing, okay? This is a very important thing. So you need to be aware of that. You need to be aware of that. Because your solution needs to solve that problem within the runtime limit, 2 seconds. Okay? 4 seconds. All right. So any questions so far? Any question? Because are quiet. All right, Adrian, you follow what I said? Adrian,
Yeah.
how about you, Jack?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's move on then. So you can see in the previous slide, the C and C++ are more efficient in computing. Java is good. Python is the slowest in those four, but more and more people using Python. So that's why USACO supports Python now. So do not feel discouraged though Python is the slowest, but it is good enough. It's good enough for you for the competition, okay? So you don't need to worry about, oh, I do not know C++, I do not know Java, I cannot get into the platinum or the gold division. No, that's not the case, okay? Well, also, once you learn one language, it's very easy for you to pick up another language. It's not as hard as you do the first programming language, okay? So never ever feel you are disadvantaged because you only know Python or you only know Java. That's not the case, again. So your solution must be less than 100,000 bytes in size. So that means do not write too big file. So I mean, do not write too much code scripts. You must make your scripts efficient. Okay. So if you write in a big file, so you will fail. Okay. So this is the size of your script, your code, okay? Your code file. And they must compile in 30 seconds. Also remember, okay? Longer file takes longer time to compile. Of course, Python does not compile. Python is not a compiling language. Java is, C is, C++ is. Python is not. So when you write Python, just make sure not be too big. Okay? Your file is not too big. So unless otherwise stated, your program will be limited to about this much of memory use. So that's why you need to be very, very clear. So I use this example again. If you guys create an area, okay, if we need to loop this many times, in each every loop you create an area. So now you see how many areas you have. It's almost 16 million areas. So if each area costs you like 1 kilobytes, then how much memory you will use? Will you pass this limit? So you need to be very, very cautious, okay, when you use your data. So when you loop through the loop, when you create a new data. So do not use more than this memory. You need to make your code efficient. How? That's the class 4. That's all class 4, okay? So your solution shall not use the temporary data file. That means you shall not read it in a temporary file or you write it in a temporary file to hard disk. Do not do that. They shall read only input files and write only output files that are specified by a problem. I want you guys to be aware of this. You see the real problem. You see it will tell you what is inputted, okay? What you output, right? So you see it tells you this is the input format. And this will be output. So you need to have the basic skills, how to take input, how to write output. Okay? You have to know that because that's the standard, that's a format. of USACO, right? So you do not try to reverse engineer by printing out the input in your code, right? Do not do that. And I do not think this will help you much. I don't think so, okay? It just costs you time. And that's the best case about the USACO test. And then let's see why we do USACO. Why USACO is so good. So let me give you some diagrams. Why? Why do we do USACO? USACO becomes more and more popular in the pre-college students. Okay. So for students interested in the high-level programming, USACO is a big deal. You see, in 2011, only how many people joined? Okay. In 2019, you see how many people joined the USACO. Right? So you see more and more people are doing it. So if you are with us for the robotic, like FTC, in the past, not that many people are doing robotics. Okay. Now it is more and more popular. More and more students realize, oh, that's very useful. That's really helpful. So they do the robotic club or they do the USACO. And this is the real benefits. Okay. You see, if you achieve a good score, a good position in USACO, you see which university you go. Are pretty much promised and very decent college. Okay. So if you do well, and I will ask you to commit your effort. You know, enjoy, do well, get into the best college, your dream college. Okay. They look at your score. They look at your position. If you have a good position, that tells them a very successful story. They know how smart you are. All right. So just like a FTC, if you do it very well, you will get into a good college as well. All right. So why USACO? So 4 winners will have the chance to represent the United States in the International Olympiad of Informatics. This is a very famous. This is a very famous competition. So you look at this every year. You see here, this 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018. Okay, keep going. Your picture will be there if you are one of the 4. So it's very good opportunity for you guys. 16 people will be accepted to the training camp. If you get to this camp, I think you are promised a good college. Okay. So when is a camp? For the past season, it's late May. Okay. So that's why do it earlier. Okay. Prepare yourself. If you like programming, it's a good place to do. Any questions so far? Any question? Let me stop sharing. Let me Renava.
No. I don't have any questions.
Eddie.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, let's move on. And then also why USACO? And it is difficult. Yes, it is very difficult. But it's also very fun. So if you are self-motivated and if you like challenges, you will get a great training for writing algorithms and practicing high-level problem solving in this process. If you like challenge, okay? That is very important in your future career development. When you develop these skills, it will help you in your lifetime. You develop your problem solving skills. So that's why I ask you guys come to the AOE class, now USACO class. So I want you guys to really engage in this class. Try to solve the problem. Try to get the discussion. Try to give me your feedback. Okay. So we are very young. We have a lot of time to prepare for it. And this is really fun as well. It's a fun class. Okay. So being smart is not enough if you do the USACO. Okay, you need to change your mindset. You cannot just be smart. You need to be wise. Okay, having a solution is not enough. Your solution must be efficient. So knowing the code, knowing coding is not enough. You must know how to design the data structure. So I have a lot of examples to show you how the data structure can help you. Okay, how the algorithm will help you. You have only 256 megabytes memory can use. You need to solve the problem in less than 2 seconds. So those things counts. Those things counts. Okay, so needed to get involved. Right. So that's pretty much the introduction. So now let's get into the competitive programming itself. So when we say it's competitive programming, it is a sport, okay? For those smart brains, it's a sport. It's just like you compete in the sports, okay? It is fun and challenging. You need to have the ability to code the solution for a problem of which a solution may not exist before. So that's why they allow you to do it at your own home, at your own time. The solution does not exist before. Nobody will be smarter than yourself. Okay? So you find out the solution. The time-space complexity algorithm analysis. So we will learn those, okay? This may be advanced to some students, okay? For some concepts, even if you are in college, you will not touch it. You will not touch it, okay? So only you know some of them only when you do your like a computer science degree, advanced degree, then you will got into it. So be prepared, okay? Be prepared so you will learn good things from the class. You also need to build your ability to think about a brute force solution. So what is a brute force? Right? Brute force is just a solution with exhaust all the possibilities. So that's the most straightforward one, right? So if I ask you to get something from a group of people, you may just go to ask one by one. Let's say if you wanted to get like a ball, and you will ask Tom, do you have one? Then Daniel, do you have one? Cool, ask one by one. But if you are smart and you know some of them, then you can go direct to that person and get the ball, right? So brute force is to exhaust all the possibilities. And also you need to do good practice of all data structures like array, list, stack, queue, tree, graph, tree. So those things, I think some of them are really advanced to you guys, but we will do those step by step, okay? Step by step. Brute force. Think about a brute force algorithm. So brute force is the first thing you need to know. When you do the problem solving, so we usually take this approach. So brute force, what is it? Can I get a kid help me with this slide? Kid.
Brute force algorithms try to solve a problem that rely on sheer computing powers and trying every possibility rather than advanced techniques to improve efficiency. In our center, the door lock is safeguarded by a code panel with digits 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The center director forgets the door code. In a worst case, how many tries she needs to do before she gets in?
Tell me, the class, who can tell me?
Would the answer be 720 tries? 720 cases.
How long is the code?
That's a good question. How long is the code? What you see, we do not have all the numbers from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 9, right? So that reduces the pool. So if we see I have the code is 6 digits, then think about that, the possibility. So how can I solve this problem? This is a very simple thing, right? So you say you go to you have a I think for a lot of hackers to do this. I think I have the example as well. So for your password, let's say your password is 8 digits. How long does the hack take to break into your account? Right? How many tries does the hack needs? So that's this kind of question. How to solve it? You really have no clue, right? The only way you can do it is the brute force. But I will show you the code. When we say the brute force, you also have different ways to solve it, even use brute force. So brute force, so if let's say if it's a 6-digit code, what's the total combination? The hash. What's the total combination, right? So think about this one. So this will require the brute force to do it. Right? The efficiency of a solution is determined by the amount of computing resources required to complete the task. So a common way to evaluate an algorithm is to look at its time complexity. I don't think you guys run into this concept. And actually, this one is very important. When you get into the college, you will, I know you do computer science, you will need to know this. So if you say in the market, people sell the applications, and usually people who purchase this application, they wanted to get an performance assessment. So they need to test your application, see how fast it runs, right? Because that's very important. That's very important. If it's very slow, the customer may not have patience. They will leave you. Then you lose your business. So that's very important. So usually you see for a method, a function you develop. For us, we do not care. If we know how to develop a functional, we feel happy very well. But if you are the developer, let's say you are the developer to develop Python, and then you say count. You have a method called count. Then people need to come to look at your code. When you do count, how do you write it? Is it the most efficient way to do count? If not, they may say you do not develop a good software. You do not develop a good software. Because you have this method, people come to use it, it takes too long. So you waste a lot of time because people needed to use it again. So you will not pass, right? So how do you do that? Right? So that's really very important, all right? So let's do this one. I think this is a very good start. I really want you guys to think about this one, root force. And this is a very classic problem. 8-queen puzzle, right? So let me give you guys this URL. Next week, when we come back, I don't think we have class next week because it is Thanksgiving. But let me send you this URL. So this is the classic brute force problem. Okay? 8-queen puzzle. Very classic, right? So can I get the student to help me read this paragraph? Huh? Can I get Aaron? Aaron, can you help me read this one?
The 8 queens puzzle is the problem of placing 8 chess queens on 8x8 chessboard so that no 2 queens threaten each other. Thus, a solution requires that no 2 queens share the same row, column, or diagonal. The 8 queens puzzle is an example of the more general n queens problem of placing n non-attacking queens on n by n chessboard, for which solutions exist for all natural numbers, and with the exception of n equals 2 and n equals 3.
Thank you. So go back to think about that. So I have 8 queens and the chessboard is 8 rows and 8 columns. So how many different ways I can place the 8 queens? Go back, think about that, and then the next week, next class, when you come back, so we can talk about this one. All right, so just go back to think about this one, and if you can write program, that's great. If not, let's come back to discuss how to solve this problem. At the Queen's puzzle, that's a classic one. All right, so it's 9:23. Let me return the class back to Miss He, and I think we'll probably do a change to the class, but let Miss He to speak for that. Hello.
Thank you, Dr. Yan.